gun, shoot me now. Hmm? Now this might have been considered, to be foolhardy, but what I'm saying is that those people had reached a point in terms of their own decision, to make a difference, that they were prepared to pay whatever sacrifice. And I'm saying, for the benefit of all of us, if today we are lacking in that courage to stand up for what we believe in, courage to pay whatever sacrifice is necessary, then do not blame our ancestors. The fault, dear Brutus, lies not in our ancestors, but in ourselves.
Remember that, young people.
It's evident in our society that there is a lot of progress. And I think that this progress is due in part to influence from other cultures, and it has been positive and it has been negative. But in your opinion, when we look at our interpersonal relationships as human beings and how we relate to each other, do you think it's more positive or negative?
If I had the means of weighing it up or analyzing it, I would say it is rather more negative than positive. I'm not talking about numbers. I'm saying that the influence, the negative influences in so many cases outweigh the positive. All right? It is only the other day I was listening to a radio program, and this person said, well, in St. Kitts, a lot of people commit murder without shedding any blood. And it sounded a bit contradictory to begin with, but I thought of it and I said, that caller may well be much wiser than he recognized. Because there's so many wars going on in St. Kitts. There are wars going on. There are people who will, just want to see you out of the way. Killed, disabled, put aside. And so interpersonal relations are particularly bad. And this is one of the reasons why I personally am an advocate for integrity in public life legislation. Not because of what it will supposedly do among politicians and public officers, but I honestly feel that it needs to set a tone for the country. For the country to declare that, listen, integrity, honesty, fairness, decency, this is what we stand for in the 21st century. And I believe that it will make a contribution to improving personal relationships, and I believe it will be an important tool in all of the problems we're having, fighting gangs and what have you. Because when there is no integrity in public life legislation, it gives the impression that there are no standards. You can do what you want so long as you get away with it. And I've made the call already, and I'm making it again, that the time is ripe for us to have integrity in public life legislation. Not just for what it might or might not do in relation to politicians and public officers, but in terms of setting norms and values and standards for the society as a whole. For us to declare now, listen, integrity matters for us as a people. All of us need to act with integrity and with honesty and with decency and with fairness. So I think that will be an important weapon in fighting so many of the negatives which tend to, I'm not saying that the majority of us as people are lacking in integrity. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the negatives, it may be a minority of the population, but the negative which they give off, which they exude, is tending to overwhelm the positive.
Is it in your belief that the syllabus should be changed in order to integrate more history about our own nation other than the history of other people and people far away and such
Yep.
and such.
I would like to think that even while it is taking time to introduce it formally into the curriculum, into the school syllabuses, and so on and so on and so on, that opportunities like this can be utilized. I would like to think that the radio and television. I wish somebody would put a microphone in front of somebody like Washington Archibald and let him talk, let him express himself in terms of our history and so forth and so on. We're not all going to agree ever, but we need to know so that we can make up our own minds and we can take some pride. Compare the United States and how they make such a wonderful thing of their history. Later this month you're having Thanksgiving. And whether they were actually born in the United States, it is a time when they all get together, the symbolism. They were celebrating the other day the Statue of Liberty. Every opportunity which we have to celebrate our history, to make it known, to get people involved so that they might take a sense of pride and so on, we must not miss it. So in addition to what will be done in terms of the schools, I'm hoping that, additionally, in the community, and through the media, etc., that we'd be all learning more and more and more about our history. Because I tell you, St. Kitts history is truly, truly fascinating. Truly fascinating.
On behalf of the UNESCO Slave Route Project Committee, we would all like to offer sincere thanks to our presenter, Probyn Inniss,